the door. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with
Abraham.
That's right. One of our web heads came out and visited us today here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds as we get you ready to talk to most likely Tristan Wirfs and Lavonte David, two Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I know a lot of Bucs fans want to hear from tonight. We'll also have startering John Melendez from former Howard Stern show intern and correspondent. We'll have him on, announcer of the Jay Leno Tonight Show, and Michael Papajohn, stuntman, and starred in the Spider-Man movie. But how do we start off this show? As you know him, you love him, you got to have him. It's my gift to you guys. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, I'm your Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We'll also talk with you when it comes to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the Tampa Bay Rays taking care of business today. They defeat the Florida Marlins 4-3. So you got to love that. If you want to talk Rays baseball, we will. But welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing today?
It's great. Great being
Get into that mic a little bit there, because I know you are a little bit. You were just a little bit nervous, and I said, listen.
It's great being with you guys.
Just like talking to your friend.
Hey, webheads. Hi.
There you go. There you go out there. Let me go ahead and get this right there. There we go as we get you ready, hopefully, for these guests tonight as they are coming on about 6:30, 7 o'clock. We are expecting both Lavonte David and Tristan Wirfs to talk to them, so it'll be good to sit down and see what they think of the 2025 season. And, of course, as always, hear from you guys on the phone lines. Let's go out to the texting line there. That's me right there. Christopher Cole says, hey, peeps, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Eric says, let's go. Let's go. Absolutely.
Wait up, little boy.
Yeah.
Wait up.
Yeah, let's go.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Let's go. There we go right there. Roger Shue, the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Right there. Joshua Deed says, where are we live from, Pete? We are live from the Florida State Fairgrounds at the Tampa Bay Card Expo. And we've been here most of the day. Well, I tried to get here early, took off early. Thanks a lot to Policy Scout there, the real mayor of New York, Mr. Anthony Giuliani, for giving me the time off. And there's just all kinds of cards. If you're a sports fan, you're going to definitely want to get out here. $5. You saw it.
Yep.
You saw it coming in. Tell the webheads out there, tell the Tampa Bay sports fan
Free parking.
how great it was.
Free parking, $5 to get in. Make sure you got cash.
Yes, got to have cash. Definitely got to have cash. So, yes, you can come on if you want to. And we also got DJ UPS, Josh, coming on with us, or Jay, I think he calls himself Jay, on Facebook. We got to talk to him. So definitely going to talk to some guests tonight and also talk to you. But get down here. You can hear the DJ music in the background. It's only $5 if you're a football fan, if you're a baseball fan of your favorite teams, going all the way back. One thing I saw, 1985 Kansas City Royals. You can see in the back there. You got plenty of Bucs helmets all around here, all shapes and sizes. So it's a great event, not only to join us because it started at 2 o'clock. We weren't going to go from 2 to 8. We could, do 6 hours. Well, we're not going to do 6 hours of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Finally, thanks a lot for participating. And I see Ed out there says, hey, bro, Peter the Great. Appreciate you, Ed, as always, tuning in. And we are on LinkedIn Live, and we will be here the next couple days. And this is my gift to you, webheads, for tuning in to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Over 200,000 viewers. You hear what I said? 200,000 viewers on Facebook the last 28 days. Just amazing stuff.
Amazing.
It really is. Yes,
Amazing.
It is. So, yes, Fairgrounds, my bad, absolutely. So, what do we have to talk about? Again, you could talk about your Tampa Bay Rays. They win today 4-3. They've been hot. Tell me, give me your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays here. Once again, welcome to the Evolution.
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job. They had a comeback victory the other day. I think they're adopting their new home, Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
It's because all the Tampa fans love going to Tampa to watch Rays. I'm sorry, but I live in Lakeland, and it's hard for me to get to St. Pete to watch a baseball game. There's too many baseball games.
It's hot out.
Yep.
I'm tired of the summer already. Can Florida please get a little bit cooler here? I know I'm a Floridian. I've been here all my life. Kid from Clearwater, Florida. Been loving all these Tampa Bay teams here since 8 years old. It just seems like it gets hotter and hotter every year, honestly.
Yep. I love the Rays being in Tampa. It's like,
right.
It's great.
Yes. All right. Well, it is great. So what do you think about their play right now?
Their play is good. They're playing good. I think they're third in the division, but I think they're going to catch up with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
we'll see, because every team right now in the AL East besides the Boston Red Sox are playing well. So even though the Rays have gone on a streak here, and I think the last 10, they're 7-3, so playing good baseball here. Zach Littell won again today. When you give him run support, it's amazing. It's amazing what happens. And I see you out there, Alex, calling me out because I didn't talk about the Rays. If you want to talk about the Rays, you can. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. As always, we'll talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A rumor out there today. We've continued to talk about national media and the disrespect that they have for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this one is coming from Mike Florio of ProFootballTalk.com, and he writes, and this is before the season has even started.
Yeah, this
is where we're going, right?
This is old news.
Get into that mic there. There you go. There we go. Don't be scared of it. It won't bite you. I promise you.
I mean, as much of a sports fan I am,
yes,
I just hate the way the national media puts its spin on everything.
Yes.
And they don't have the pulse of the local sports scene here in Tampa.
Right. Well, look at this.
We got a special guest.
We do have a special guest, and I told you we will have it. This guy's a legend in the radio business. Go. You can sit down right here. Go ahead. Abraham, you can come on back. Let me go ahead and get this gentleman on right now.
I didn't mean to kick you out.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's all right. You got a legend in the radio business, my friend.
There we go.
If you guys don't know who this is, let me go ahead and introduce you to him, because if you're a Howard Stern fan, you would know it right there. Stuttering John Melendez, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
There we go. There's the bullhorn.
Yes, how you doing? How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Good. I'm just hanging out here at the Tampa Sports Expo.
Right.
Enjoying myself. I'm sitting right next to Michael Papa John.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, from The Water Boy, The Longest Yard.
Yes.
And, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But, he's a really cool guy. Kind of looks like De Niro.
He's been in a lot of movies.
Yes.
It's crazy. And I didn't realize it because I was doing research on it, because this is what you do when you're in the radio business. I feel like this is a radio show. It's a TV show.
Yeah.
Inspiration is from you, my friend. Inspiration is from Howard Stern. If you're a radio guy, you got to watch Private Parts. My thing is, I don't know why you didn't have more time in Private Parts.
Well, that's what I complain about at the end.
I know. And I don't understand it, because you're a big part of what Howard Stern did. But doing the research there, he was Papa John, the guard, on The Longest Yard, getting basically, I think, trucked by the great Khali at the time.
Yes, and he also is the guy that killed Uncle Ben in Spider-Man.
He is that guy, and I think he's probably. I'm a wrestling fan. I don't know if you are, but he's always got that nuclear heat, if you will. Anywhere he goes, that's what he's remembered for, always.
Yes, and he was in For the Love of the Game.
Yes, he was. Kevin Costner's nemesis.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, talk about you. Talk about what you're doing. You're doing a great podcast right now. How is that going?
I finally decided to stop streaming. It just got too toxic, and
Really?
Yes, and anonymous armchair warriors in their mom's basement who try and call my gigs to get them canceled, and like even here they tried to some idiot emails try to get me canceled.
Why?
It's just this is the society that we live in.
Right.
Look, when I was doing the interviews and asking Dalai Lama, do people go up to and say hello, Dolly? Like it was me. Like I wasn't hiding behind anything.
Right.
These people just hide behind an anonymous, and they come by my house and put things on my door and pour garbage on my lawn. It's like it's just call my mother at 2:30 in the morning on Christmas morning, and so I just said, you know what, I don't need the money that bad, so I'm just gonna I'll just go back to doing stand up, which is essentially what I'm doing. This is only my second convention.
Really?
Yeah, I did Chilicon, which was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with a lot of people like Jim J. Bullock, who was in my movie that I sold to National Lampoon.
Okay.
And I got to hang out with Judah Gershon, who was on the series I did for 3 seasons, Trip and the Rip. And don't forget, I also left Howard to be the announcer
for the Jay Leno show.
Yes, on the Tonight Show. So they actually hired a stutterer to be their announcer. That's like entrusting Charlie Sheen with your Coke.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I had a great time with Jay. He couldn't be. I've never met a nicer guy and so inherently funny. There are 3 people that, to me, have always made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Leno was one of them. Jack Cohen, one of our head writers, is another.
Okay.
And Artie Lang. I mean, 3 people that just you could have lunch with them and you could be laughing so hard.
Yes.
So those guys are just those kind of people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a sports talk show. We call it the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. Again, a cross between a radio and a TV show. And I get criticism too. And then you have fans that are just crazy. It's social media. Like, I love social media, and I know what you mean by doing a pod. Keep on streaming, man. You got plenty of stories to tell.
Oh, yeah, I know. And I was making like over $100,000 a year doing it, but I just decided to say, you know what, this is just not worth it.
Yeah.
Just the harassment and the constant, just like, attacking family and just like taking it way too far. And it just really got way too far. Sending people to my gigs with a microphone hidden as a flower.
That's crazy.
So they could tape me.
Nuts.
To have a conversation. I mean, it's really like, it's juvenile.
Mm-hmm.
It's seriously childlike.
Right.
And, but it is what it is. But I enjoy doing stand-up. I'm at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples Tuesday night, June 17th.
Okay.
I got gigs booked in Jersey and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Long Island. So I'm just all over, I love being on stage, dude. I've been on stage since I was in the star of my first grade play, The Little Carrot Seed. So I mean, I've always been a ham. And
right.
You know what the funniest thing is? What's your name again?
My name is Peter Blake. I'm the Rolex reporter. How you doing?
All right, Danny. So the best is
listen, that happens so many times. And listen, my inspiration, because I know you asked a lot of celebrities questions. When I was approaching Jake Paul, he's a YouTuber. I know who he is. Everybody told me, watch out. Right. Watch out for him. He's surly. So I gave 3 good questions. He's always been respectful. And then I asked him a 4th question. Are you going to continue to give fighters Rolexes? And he's like, yeah, I've done some crazy things before. You know what? Do you want a Rolex? I'm not thinking this guy is really being serious. I'm like, yeah. I need to upgrade. So he's not surly at all. Like, he's been really nice to me because I respect him. And I think, that's the funniest thing about it, because you can ask one question, some guy can go off. I remember you asking celebrities questions, and they just absolutely going off. So his brother makes a beeline, gets my information, Rolex gets sent out, which is amazing in itself. But going back to you interviewing celebrities, what was your toughest celebrity, or what was your moment where you were like, man, this is crazy. I don't know if I want to ask these kind of questions to these celebrities.
Well, let me see, Billy. I asking OJ if he would sign my knife wasn't exactly.
Well, listen.
And coincidentally, he already had his own.
You and Dennis Miller, I guess.
Dennis Miller would not talk to me when he was on the Tonight Show. He would avoid me.
Right.
And finally, he came up to me after just passing me and giving me the cold shoulder for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And he finally said, hey, listen, John, Jay said you're a good guy. so I'm gonna say hi. I was really mad that you interviewed me because remember when he was one of the hosts of
Yes.
Monday Night Football?
Yes.
Yeah, and I started just it was like an ESPN thing. I just started screaming out, putting him down, and he what's so funny about this, Eddie, is that is that people like these comedians can never take themselves. They always take themselves too seriously.
Right.
It's really odd because sports people usually have a sense of humor. Actors usually do, but comedians never do, except for the late great Joan Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how funny Joan was, and she was a friend. But without skipping a beat, I said, Joan, do you think ugly people should be allowed to have children? And she said, no. And I told your mother that. And that is a funny person.
Right.
So, and so there are those, but like Don Rickles is not, and I should not leave him out because anytime he came to the Tonight Show, Don Rickles was
classic.
Was hysterical.
He's classic. Yeah.
But, and I listen, I've led a charmed life.
Right.
I mean, and I know it's Peter Blake, though.
I know. I got you. Stuttering John Melendez here of the Howard Stern Show here live on the evolution of sports talk television. I want to ask you, how do you do comedy these days because of social media, because of the social climate right now, political? You've got to be politically correct. How do you do that? How do you really do comedy? I just don't know. Like Dave Chappelle, you watch Dave Chappelle's specials. He can get away with it. Seems like everybody else, you got to be really PC. How does Stuttering John do comedy and do an act these days?
Well, it's weird. If you're, if you happen to be a black guy, you could do black jokes. If you're a Jewish person, you could do Jewish jokes.
Right.
But I don't know how many half Danish, half Puerto Rican, stuttering OCD ridden dwarfs with smelly feet. I don't know how big that niche audience would be.
Right.
So so I have to be very careful. Like, and I've taken out at least 20 minutes of my set,
right,
because of what this has become. But I'll tell you something funny, Peter.
Sure, tell me.
This is like my fourth grade school teacher must have been clairvoyant, because she wrote in my on top of my report card to my mother, John tends to ask outrageous and penetrating questions in class and stutters when excited. I mean, could you imagine? And that was basically what I did on Stern.
Yeah.
Because I never had a problem asking anybody anything.
Right.
I don't have a filter. I don't have any guilt to ask somebody something stupid.
Right.
But I will tell you, when Sacha Baron Cohen did the Tonight Show, I thought it was odd that he didn't come and just say, hey, man, thanks. Because I was before him. I was before Bob Smigel and Triumph the Insult Dog, who's essentially Stuttering John with a puppet, in between two ferns. I mean, I was doing that stuff way before these guys. Yeah. And, it's just, but hey, I guess imitation is the best form of flattery.
That's it. How is it to work for Howard Stern? What does he like to work for?
Like people always ask me, John, is Howard a good guy off the air? And I say, he's a great guy off the air. And they go, yeah. So I guess on the air is all an act. I go, no, off the air is all an act. Howard's a nice guy, but he's flawed, right? Much like all of us. But his greatest flaw is he gets extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? That where you own something, like you think you
accountable.
No, you think you own everybody, like
right?
Just because he gives somebody, he gives me my start, but it never in his mind, says like it gets to where it's equal. In other words, Lorne Michaels gives Adam Sandler the chance to be on SNL. Sure. But Adam Sandler runs away with it, right? And at some point, doesn't it even out? Like they're both helping each other?
You would think so.
But Howard doesn't ever understand that aspect. So when I left to go to Jay Leno, Howard made it really difficult for me because he kept on beating up on Jay. And I started getting the hate. That's where the hate started. And you know what? Really, what he should have done is been proud.
Right.
Wow, I gave you your start, and look at you. Now you're the first stuttering announcer. But I'll tell you, because my kid told me this, and so did Artie Lang. When Howard was the judge on America's Got Talent,
Mm-hmm.
they had a stuttering comic on. And when they went to the judges to get their feedback, Howard said to the stuttering comic, let me just say something.
Right.
You, my friend, are an inspiration. And I'm sitting there, and my kid told me, and Artie too was like, he's an inspiration. You're a stutterer who worked with Howard for 15 years. You became the freaking announcer on the biggest late night talk show, and you're not an inspiration. And it's really and it really is shocking.
Right.
And that's his greatest flaw besides being a cheap son of a bitch.
I saw the figure and I couldn't. Is this true? $20,000 a year? I mean, can you imagine trying to live on $20,000 now?
When I started with Howard, the first year I made $0. Then when the Channel 9 show, I made $7.50 an episode.
Really quick, kids out there and people that are watching this show, he started out because he wanted to be on radio on the Howard Stern show, and you made $0.
And I worked very hard. I had to get up at 3:20 a.m., catch the 3:57 out of Massapequa on the LIRR, and then work at Stern, and then go to NYU, which is where I graduated from, all while I was working for free. And then, finally, Tom Ciapisano, gives me my first paycheck, and he called it a stipend.
Right.
$10,000 a year. $10,000 a year. And this is the heyday of Stuttering John.
That's crazy.
Like on the Channel 9 show brochure for advertisers,
right,
there was Howard, Robin, and me.
Right.
And I was making $10,000 a year. And finally, Mel Karmazin upped it to $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
After taxes, I mean, that is nothing. And then get a load of this.
Yes.
And this is another flaw, Howard's. They bully you into taking. If you don't take what they offer, then you're gone.
Right.
So Jackie he didn't like the offer.
Jackie the Joke Man Martling, by the way.
Jackie the Joke Man.
Yep.
Who I love. They offered him a really horrible salary for the E! Show.
Okay.
So Jackie didn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
They literally put walls around Jackie so he would not be seen on camera. Now, they offered me. Now, Peter, you're not going to believe this.
Okay.
They offered me $200 a week for 5 shows on the E! Network.
That's crazy.
$10,000 a year.
That's crazy.
And Jackie made $25,000 a year.
That's nuts.
And Jackie was at the Friars, and he was telling somebody, and then he was all upset. I get $25,000, and some comics at the Friars Club were like, but Jackie, $25,000 an episode's not bad. He goes, that $25,000 for the whole year. I mean, and this is how cheap. But then, meanwhile, Howard gets his millions. So
yes,
therein lies. And then, if you want to hear a very, stark difference between the two.
Yes.
Like for Christmas one year from Howard, we all got popcorn canisters with our name on it, some artwork, and it was just 3 flavors. It was regular, it was cheese, and then caramel. Me and Mike Angie, who was working on the E! Show,
right?
I literally, because Howard was goofing on our gifts, I got them all DVDs and books, and cost me $200. I got a popcorn canister, and when Howard was bitching about our gifts, I went on the air and said, Howard, you gave us a popcorn canister. I said, I swear to God, Peter, I stuck my arm in the can thinking there was a check on the bottom, like a Cracker Jack.
Right.
And when I left the studio, Ganji comes up. I did the same thing. Now, Jay Leno, I would get for Christmas checks for $5,000.
Nice.
So therein lies the difference. And Jay had 150, 200 employees. Jay Leno would spend out of his own pocket $1 million, I think, to $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen will be mad if I'm talking out of school. But I have to just give this man credit.
Right.
Because he literally was very generous to his staff. You won't find anybody who worked for Jay Leno
right
trashing him. Yet if you look at all the people that work for Stern.
Right.
There's a long line of people that take exception to the way he was handling his employees.
There's a local guy here by the name of Bubba the Love Sponge.
I know, Bubba. I've been on the show.
Yeah, and he's definitely had some things to say about Howard Stern.
In fact, I wanted to do his show, but I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Wow, maybe he'll see this show on Twitter or something. Maybe we'll get this information to him.
And also, I'm friends, and I've done called this show.
Okay.
And I was listening to him on the way here, and I think he's great, but I can't seem to get it. I don't know his number because I would have told him so I can promote that I'm here.
Right.
Because I'm here all weekend.
Well, absolutely. And we're on with Stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show, his podcast here doing stand-up. You talked about some of the comedians before that gave you some inspiration. Who are some of the guys that inspired you to do your stand-up?
Steve Martin.
Okay. Why's up?
I just found him to be oddly, like he was odd and funny. Like one of my favorite jokes, and this is just my sense of humor, he would go like very deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like to juggle in my mind. And then he goes, oops. I mean, just something as silly as
right.
I just
it's
think
awkward.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Though. But then again, the most underrated that people do not talk about is Richard Jeni.
Why's that?
Richard Jeni was probably one of the best top 10 stand-ups ever.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he tragically killed himself, but you never hear about him.
Mm-hmm.
He is awesome. Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay, Stephen Wright, all great comics. And, and Howie Mandel, who's a friend of mine, great comic. There are a lot of great ones that obviously, and I was good friends with Sam Kinison.
Right.
And I'm friends with Andrew Dice Clay as well. But yeah, those would be the ones. And then Eddie Murphy.
Of course. Still doing his thing.
And Chris Rock.
Right.
You can't, and Dave Chappelle, like
right.
you said.
Right.
Dave Chappelle, I'll tell you,
Is that the guy you watched today? Because it seems like he's doing Netflix. He's killing it. He goes on Saturday Night Live. It's one of the highest watched episodes out there because it's Dave Chappelle. Is that the guy right now, in your opinion, that is the best comedian to watch?
Yeah, but I will say, Dave is a sweetheart, down-to-earth guy.
Right.
Now, I could talk about drugs for a second, right?
Sure.
No.
When you're on the sports talk show, everybody's wondering if you're a Bucks fan, by the way. I don't think he's a Bucks fan. He's from Massapequa, New York. First and foremost, are you a sports fan?
Yes, I am.
Okay, who do you like?
The New York Football Giants. Are
they going to turn it around this year? What are they doing?
I don't know. They
Wilson.
Got rid of the best running back, right? Who could be in the history of the game? It's like when the Red Sox gave Babe Ruth to the Yankees so they could produce no net. So this is the biggest blunder. Now what I am excited about is Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Why? Jackson Dart played for Ole Miss.
Correct.
What other future Hall of Famer played for Ole Miss?
Is he a future Hall of Famer? Because a lot of people say Eli Manning.
If you don't think Eli Manning is a future Hall of Famer,
I think
you're an idiot.
I think his numbers are there. He's won 2 Super Bowls, and he beat the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady with those teams. I know.
And he's in top 10 of a lot of passing categories.
Right. Exactly.
And he's a damn good guy.
Yes, he is.
Which is a good thing.
Right.
But the story with David Chappelle, it's not as bad as you think. So we were
It's okay.
So we were at Howard's birthday party in Manhattan, and so it's me. It's like a couple of white guys on E, and it's Dave Chappelle. So someone lights up a doobie, which now doobies is not even a bad thing.
It's not. It seems like everywhere you go right now, it's you can smell it. I can smell it at work sometimes on my other job.
So a white guy takes a hit of the doobie.
Right.
I take a hit of the doobie. Another white guy takes a hit of the doobie. Dave Chappelle goes to take a hit of the doobie. As soon as he puts the doobie in his mouth, security comes over. Hey, man, you can't do that in here. And he goes, so it was okay when the white guy did it, but then the black guy did it, and you came up and bothered. And he was spot on, but he's so naturally funny. And let me tell you something. A lot of the guys that I put on the Stuttering John and Friends comedy tour, that were with me, Nick DiPaolo, hysterical. Like Artie Lang was on my tour.
Yes.
Modi, hysterical. Doug Stanhope.
Yes.
Hysterical. there are so many comics that I put on the road with me that end up becoming really big stars in their own right.
Well, some of those guys are part of also the Comedy Central roast, which
Greg Giraldo was on my
right.
tour. The late great, who was an also great down to earth guy.
Right.
And Doug Stanhope couldn't be a cooler dude. And Larry the Cable Guy, another good friend of mine.
Right.
His real name is Dan Whitney. That guy is one of the nicest people you ever meet. Now I can talk about the a-holes I met in the business.
Sure. Well, AJ Penza comes to mind, or AJ Benza, excuse me.
No, I mean, he just,
How was that smack? Because he gave you a smack.
Well, Gary's teeth got in the way. So really, it was, but I came at him like a raging bull.
Yes.
Yes. And he even emailed me after and said, dude, when I saw you coming after me, you would have kicked my butt in. But, no, the top two people that I met were, because I helped Chelsea Handler in the beginning.
Okay.
I put her on my tour, and then she became a real biatch. and she's been horrible. She's been known to be a horrible person.
Right.
The other one that I found really odd was Ryan Seacrest. And I'm going to get back to radio here because now I'm on the Tonight Show.
Right.
I'm the announcer.
Right.
And I go backstage with Ryan, who's he's a radio guy.
Sure.
I'm a radio guy.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey.
It's a fraternity, by the way, because I worked in radio too, and I feel like, yeah, we're competing against each other. But then again, because radio is a tough business. You know this all too well. You talk in this conversation, you've said that there's been backstabbing, that, people are trying to move ahead of you. But there is some type of fraternity there where you would think if you work in radio that the other person wants to see you do well. It's not always like that.
Yeah, so I went backstage. I'm the one announcing his freaking name, and he wasn't as big yet.
Right.
He only had, I think, one show as opposed to the 2000 he has now.
But good for him, by the way.
He's the next Dick Clark, and I use let me put some focus on Dick. Anyway, so Dick Clark.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
of course.
Yes.
They're still doing that, by the way, even though he's dead. It's just weird. Like,
yeah,
can you move
it's
on?
Ryan Seacrest.
That's Ryan Seacrest.
But I will say, so I went back to Ryan and said, "Hey, man, I was in radio too. Just want to say hi," and it blew me off. He looked at me like I had three heads, and just was just so conceited.
Right.
And now, George Clooney, great guy.
Right.
Nicest guy. Billy Bob Thornton. This is a funny story. It's me, Gilbert, and Billy Bob Thornton hanging out in the Tonight Show hallway.
Right. And you're talking about Gilbert Godfrey,
yes.
by the way. Yes.
Who was also one of the greatest comics.
Right.
And Billy Bob is complimenting Gilbert, praising him, like just, you're the best. And Gilbert is so awkwardly uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just laughing because Gilbert can't. He's just like,
Can you do a Gilbert Godfrey impression?
Now I can't. No, yeah, I'm not a big impersonator. But
That's great. That's great.
But getting back to sports, because I know this is a sports show.
Yeah. Well, they were like, who is this guy? This guy right here, if you don't know, if you didn't grow up in radio, he's part of the Howard Stern show history there. Again, you should have had more time in private parts. John Melendez, Stuttering John here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds for the Tampa Card Expo, which will be here all weekend, right?
Yes, and I will tell you this about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And
you love the Bucs.
And then I want to talk about the Yankees. No, yes. I don't love them. I don't hate them. But I will tell you, when they had that orange, that horrible
creamsicle.
Yeah, that creamsicle thing.
Yes, they're bringing it back this year.
I told my friend Jiggs, I said, listen, they're not going to win until they change their helmets and uniforms. And as soon as they did,
1997,
they won.
They did. And now they're bringing it back. And every time
they have Jeremy Shockey too.
They didn't have Jeremy Shockey.
No, Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn Johnson, who was a Jet.
Yes, but I'll tell you.
Your buddy there, Shockey, was a Giant.
Yes, I know, but I thought he went to Tampa too. No,
yeah. Keyshawn.
Jeremy Shockey.
No, not Jeremy Shockey. No.
No?
No.
Oh, for some reason I thought he did.
That's okay.
But anyway, I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay.
I love Kevin Cash, though. I think he's a great manager.
It's tough to be a Rays fan, John, and I'll tell you why. Because the ownership down here, and I can't stand it. I wish they had the same mindset as a Yankee ownership where they would go all in and they would spend. And even though they have success, they just it's limited. So you can't win a World Series. I love Kevin Cash too, but there are fans out there who want him gone because they're using the analytics of the situation. But the problem is that these are the pieces that he's given.
And they had to get rid of a Rosarena. Who was a great ball player.
Yes.
And he always had that snarl.
Yes. Gotta love that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, like, so now if this is okay.
Sure.
F.U. Juan Soto. And
by the way, that's not working out too well for him. I
No.
mean, yeah, he's making lots of money, but it's not working out with him and the Mets.
just so and watch Juan Soto not only got what
65 or
65
68.
million.
Yeah.
He also got a suite for his mom and a new wardrobe for his mom every year.
Wow. Can't beat that.
Now,
Kind of like a Bobby Bonilla thing.
but if you're Francisco Lindor, aren't you like, hey, what about me?
Right.
But what I like about the Yankees, which is just what you said,
Mm-hmm.
what'd they do? They went out and got Paul Goldschmidt Jr., who's killing it right now.
Yep.
They went out and got Cody Bellinger, who's killing it.
Yes.
They went and got Max Fried, who may win the Cy Young this year.
Who has absolutely dominated the Rays every time he pitches. I hate he's a Rays killer at this point.
And he might be the starting pitcher of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And by the way, Carlos Rodon is no slack either.
Not at all.
And
Not
Luis
at all,
Hill
John.
is coming back. So look out for my Yankees, brah.
Hey, listen. When the Rays and the Yankees are playing, you're more than welcome to come on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right?
And I'll tell you something, Peter, before I go.
Yes.
Because I don't want to bore your audience.
No, you're definitely not boring the audience, my friend.
Okay.
We love the stories.
Because I was listening to Mike Calta
Okay.
on the way here. And he said something that was really cool. I think it was Mike Calta, but it could have been the show after. But they said, how cool is it that Baker Mayfield?
It might be Drew Garabo.
Okay.
It might be Drew Garabo. Maybe. I don't know.
But he said, how cool is it that Baker Mayfield is attending the Metallica concert tonight?
Are you going to that?
No, but I just thought that was so cool.
Well, it is. I mean, he's really endeared himself to the Tampa Bay community. And a lot of people said when he came from Cleveland that, this guy has a bad attitude and all this other stuff. He's matured. He's going all Tom Brady right now. He's moving down here. He's doing OTAs. He's doing individual workouts. I mean, the Bucs are trying to go for the Super Bowl at this point. Super Bowl or bust. He's trying to do his best Tom Brady. And listen, they got the talent to do it, my friend. Sorry about your Giants. Because you found out last year.
No, I know.
What the Bucs did to the Giants.
Well, I'm rooting for Baker, because he seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
But yes, but the I forget what I was going to say now, but yeah. Oh, but it is cool that he's going to a Metallica
Sure.
concert.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to give you a trivia question.
Sure.
What famous Hall of Fame pitcher came out to enter Sandman?
Oh, Mariano Rivera.
There you go.
One of the greatest closers of all time here.
Yes.
Come on now.
Okay, and what is significant besides all the records and the rings about Mariano Rivera? Come on, Peter. You got this.
What's significant about him?
It's never happened in baseball history.
You got me on that one, John.
The first unanimous vote for the Hall of Fame.
As he should.
So even the Red Sox sports writers didn't say no.
Yes.
Jeter got one no.
Right.
Not Mariano.
Ricky Henderson. That's crazy. You watch baseball, John. I watch baseball. Ricky Henderson, not 100%. Man, I appreciate this.
Yeah,
I really do.
And Peter, after this convention, which ends, I think, at 7 or 8,
yeah,
I am going to be moseying on down to the sports bar that I hear there's one close to here.
There are plenty of here.
So I can watch the Yankees who play at 7:05.
Okay.
So, Peter, if you are your guy, let's go grab a few beers and go watch the Bronx Bombers.
We'll see. But see, here's the thing. As much as I want to see the Yankees win for you, I'd be rooting against you because
I don't care. I will make dollar bets all along the way. And for those people who didn't think that I really stuttered, you just heard one.
I did hear you, yes.
But I made it almost 30 minutes without doing it.
You did, man. You did. You absolutely killed it, man. Appreciate you.
All right,
here being on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Yes.
Everybody come down to the Tampa Sports Expo at the Florida State Fairgrounds. And don't forget, I'm going to be at Off the Comedy Club in Naples Tuesday, June 17th. And thank you very much, Peter.
Absolutely. Do me one favor, because we always say this to start the show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Do it in that announcer tone that you do it.
All right, bring your what?
Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Bring your passion. Okay, I got it. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. My friend, great
I'll
stuff,
see you,
man.
Peter.
Absolutely. Appreciate you right there.
All right, buddy,
Stuttering
take care.
John Melendez of the Howard Stern Show, Jay Leno, the Tonight Show there. Great stories as his own podcast. We're going to get him to do his own podcast again. Guys, we're going to read the comments right there. I mean, that's what we got going on today. It's not just all sports, but of course, we can talk sports with you if you want to, as we always do here on the Sports Web. On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to these comments. Of course, Rays do win 4-3. Ed Gross says, I'm not a big Howard fan anymore. I used to be. Okay. Ed says, how do Cole got one, but I don't. WTF. Oh, I got one now. Ha, ha, ha. I don't know what you're talking about. Social media is out of control. Absolutely is out of control. But, I think we bring on the Sports Web a positive spin to it, right? So we talk about the views here on Facebook. We talk about the views here on YouTube and all these social media platforms, and it gives you an alternative to talk about your favorite Tampa Bay sports team, whether it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is predominantly the show, whether it is the Tampa Bay Rays, who once again won today, and of course, your Tampa Bay Lightning. So we give you that alternative here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I hope you enjoy that. We try to bring a positive spin. And I try not to hang up on people unless, you bring nonsense. It's because of the amount of comments. Ed says, I noticed that, Chris. So is John a Bucs fan? We already answered that question. He's a big-time Giants fan. He talked about the Giants. Knows about his sports, too, by the way. He does know some sports on this show. Game over, says Ed. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go back out to Ed here. See, Howard should have shared his money with the people who got him there. Agree with that. Sarah says, yo, Peter, how you been? I've been great. Absolutely great. Here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds at the Tampa Sports Expo. All kinds of cards here, just sports stuff from other teams, from other years. You just absolutely got to love it. I met Sam before. Okay, very cool. Dang. Courtney, greetings and salutations. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate that. Wow, lots of star talk here. Absolutely. Let's see. So John isn't a Bucs fan. No, John is not a Bucs fan, but we are a fan of you, Mr. Ed Gross. You can come on in. Come on in here, Abraham. We'll continue to talk Bucs here and wait for the main guest. We're going to have Michael Papajohn coming on, actor, stuntman, of course, Spider-Man fame, Waterboy. We're going to definitely talk to him because there is some sports influence, and I didn't even know some of this stuff. And get closer to that mic because I see you trying to get away from it. A super chat right there. Of course, YouTube super chats are open. Facebook stars, appreciate that. With the $1.99, appreciate you. I won the Florida lottery, so I have been. You won the Florida lottery. Well, congratulations on. Did you really win the Florida lottery? Are you joking with me,
Give me
Ed
some
Gross?
of that.
Yeah, give me some of that money. Pull that mic up just a little bit right there. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just so weird. I miss Gilbert Godfrey. I think a lot of people do. He was my favorite. Courtney says, I bet it's hot out there today. It absolutely is. It's Florida. When and where is it hot? It is always hot. It seems like here. Yeah, social media is out of control, but no need to talk about it here. And yeah, I super chatted you, Pete. I appreciate that. Also, go to Instagram Live as I see Mr. B-Rad himself from Malibu, Mr. Brad Ackerson, Stuttering John. Yay, I'm glad you enjoyed that, guys. Yeah. So, again, the main subjects or the main guest, if you're a Bucs fan at this point, is to have Lavonte David and, of course, Tristan Wirfs on in just a little bit. Let's go out to Ed. If I did, I would give you more than $2. It's okay, man. Everything always helps here on the Evolution. Hey, Peter, good to see you, brother. Florida State Fair is always a landmark of memories for those who grew up in the Tampa Bay area. And, with the Wi-Fi situation, because the Wi-Fi is not great here, so I'm using my hotspot. So hopefully my guys, Harry the Greek or Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, will share that hotspot here, because we got more guests tomorrow in the likes of Jalen McMillan, Bucky Irving, John Gruden, Jose Canseco, Phil Esposito. So get down here.
Heavy hitters.
$5, absolutely $5. $5. And, of course, we got DJ UPS in the background there.
And yours truly.
Yes, Abraham right there. Yes. So we were going to start out with the Bucks, but we started out with Stuttering John. So we'll talk some Bucks here. The rumor from Mike Florio is that if the Bucks don't get this done, hey, winning $5, that's winning the lotto. Laugh out loud. I wish right there. And Ed says, wow, good show tomorrow. Yes, good show tomorrow. Good show tonight. And on Sunday, DJ Langway, not a Florida Gator fan, but I know there's a lot of Florida Gator fans that watch this show. He will be on with us too.
All right.
So there you go. You sound excited.
Yep.
Okay.
About that rumor, Todd Bowles?
Well, yeah, this is what Mike Florio had to say. He says, although Todd Bowles has won the NFC South in each of his last 3 seasons as Tampa Bay's head coach, the Buccaneers have a unique history, to say the least, when it comes to coaching position. In 2009, they abruptly dumped John Gruden, who hopefully will be one of our guests tomorrow from Barstool Sports. For Raheem Morris, 3 years later, they hired Greg Schiano, then surprisingly fired Lovie Smith in 2016, apparently in order to avoid losing offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter to another team. And some still believe that Tom Brady's unretirement in 2022, after his path to Miami was blocked, was conditioned on Bruce Arians being nudged into retirement. Florio also says much of it depends on what the Bucs do or don't do in 2025 and what the Tar Heels do or don't do in 2025. Still, with Belichick's buyout down to $1 million as of last Sunday, let's not assume no one at the NFL level will want Belichick. He also says the Bucs have the talent. If ownership decides an excellent game day coach could get them to the top of the mountain, it's not as nutty as you may seem.
I would personally ask Lavonte David or Tristan Wirfs, especially Lavonte.
Yes.
They say all y'all are saying that, but none of us are talking like that. We all got our coaches back.
Yes.
So why y'all talking like that?
Well, it's rumor season, and because there is some type of there's a Flamer, there's Jason Light has worked with Bill Belichick before in New England, so everybody wants to put A and B together. 2 + 2 = 4. So Todd Bowles struggles. If he doesn't get the Bucs out of the first round, then that's where people say, we'll change the coach. And I'm just amazed by some of the Bucs fans out there, taking this and saying, there he goes, Bill Belichick's to be the next coach. Like, play the season first. And there's high expectations for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. I'm not necessarily, so sold on the fact that even if you don't get out of the first round, that Todd – because that's not a good team. That's not what good teams do. Good teams don't hire and fire coaches. And you look at that previous Bucs team with the revolving door of hiring and firing coaches. That's not the way you live.
There's a playoff drought for so many years. Since Gruden left.
Yes.
So people have short memory, unfortunately.
They do.
And
yes.
You can take an instance of Mike Tomlin. He won 1 Super Bowl, then he hasn't won again. But you're going to fire him?
Right. Well, there's some people out there who would like to fire Mike Tomlin, believe it or not. Yes. They would. All right, guys. Open phone lines. If you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays, talk about your Tampa Bay Bucks. What are your expectations? Of course, we'll throw the record out there. We will get DJ UPS on the Evolution. You know what, Abraham? Go ahead. Let me get. You want to get on here really quick and promote this?
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Okay, he's going to come right back. He's going to promote this event. We want to get him, want to hear from him. So you've seen these. What are you looking forward to? Because I think there's some position battles, of course, mandatory. Todd Bowles said it, mandatory camp coming up on Tuesday for this team. Hassan Reddick has been the story of the last couple of weeks, not showing up, but it's voluntary. It's not mandatory. If he doesn't show up on Tuesday, then once again, it is a big-time story.
I say cornerback.
Right.
I would say because they're the 2 draft picks. And
Right.
Zion and Jamel Dean. Okay, they're going to be fighting with those 2 cornerbacks.
Okay.
Then you got the safety. There's two undrafted free agents, J.J. Roberts and the more heralded Shiloh Sanders. I think both have a spot because Shiloh can play special teams, J.J. can play nickel, and I think that we're hurting a safety, so we need both of them.
All right, my friend, you're definitely learning. You're getting professional here because you cut off right when you heard the phone line. Let's go out to the phone lines. Ed, welcome to the Evolution, leading it off here on a special edition live from the Florida State Fairgrounds. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
Yeah, people need to stop with all the rumors. First of all, who are you going to replace him with?
Well, they're saying Bill Belichick. This was a story. Listen, this was a story from Mike Florio. I didn't make it up. I promise you. Okay. It was on Pro Football Talk. I don't understand it. I get it. It's a slow season, but I'm saying play out the season at this point, and then you can talk about coaching rumors. But I expect this team to do very well this year at 12-5. Now, knock on wood, depending on injuries at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right, what else?
I think they have more depth than they did last year.
Well, they do.
So,
I mean, and he's
and that's the key.
And Abraham is
Super Bowls.
Abraham has hit on this. He said, the cornerback situation, you double dip there. You've got some young guys in Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish, who a lot of fans are excited about to push Jamel Dean. You've got Zion McCollum coming back. He really had a breakout year. I think he's going to get better. Of course, he's able to stay on the field. Jamel Dean's not. So that's the reason why you get these young guys to compete. And, of course, the unknown in Shiloh Sanders, who's undrafted. He's got the pedigree out there.
Guy.
It's your guy.
239 area code, Fort Myers, Florida.
The Shiloh Sanders fan club right here starts with Abraham on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
His dad, Dion, played for my high school in Fort Myers, Florida.
There you go.
School, so.
You're absolutely correct. So what about what position battle are you looking forward to seeing here as a defensive line at this point?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Linebacker is key.
Okay.
Edge rusher is key. But
linebacker is key, yes.
I definitely think that and you can write this down. I think Bucky Irvin is going to get 1,600 yards this year. 1,600
yards for Bucky. Put it down. Do you think so, huh?
Yeah, put it down.
Big year for Bucky.
I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think he's on the verge of being a very special player.
Well, by the way, it looks like he's going to show up tomorrow. So we're going to try to get him on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And again,
I'll be checking that out.
Well, there you go. We're going to try to get all these guests on here. So there you go. All right. What else, Ed?
I think that they definitely improved the depth, especially on defense. We've always had a good offense. I mean, we got great receivers. We got good running backs. We finally got a decent offensive line, which we've been lacking for a long time. Even Tom Brady, we had Tom Brady, but we didn't have the greatest offensive line then. We had about a mediocre offensive line. He was able to make it work because he could get the ball out quick. But and Baker can make it work with a mediocre line too because he's got legs.
But Baker can definitely make it work. And I know, there's a lot of fans out there, and even the coaches have talked about, Baker lived to fight another day. But of course, the new offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, calls him plays like a UFC guy. It's nice to see him go for that third or fourth down, but there's a lot of people holding their breath. Hopefully he doesn't have an injury. And I think Baker's as tough as nails at this point. And this line to me is the most exciting aspect of this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team because it is all about building within the lines when it comes to the offense and defensive line, and they've been able to keep all those guys together. And Tristan Wirfs, 6 year, we're going to have him hopefully on the show here in about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm curious to ask Tristan Wirfs, can you believe it's been 6 years? It's 6 years, guys, he's come into the league. 6 years for Tristan Wirfs. It's flown by.
A couple years, we're going to be thinking about who his predecessor is.
Well, I'm not ready to say that. I'm not ready to say that yet here, Ed. Let's not rush it. All right. What else?
That's probably it for now. I'll talk to you later.
Ed, I got a question for you.
Oh, go ahead. Hold on, Ed.
So what do you think about the inside linebacker depth?
Well, he's gone.
Oh, he's
expedient. What we got here? What do we got going on? For the back wall. All right. So you got me a back. Okay. Very nice. I like that. Lavonte David. Look at that. It's a signed jersey, and he'll be our guest hopefully here in the next hour to 30 to 45 minutes. We'll see what happens with Lavonte. Love to absolutely get him on the Evolution. This is mine? That's yours for the back wall, brother. Oh, man. Are you serious? this from my back wall. Man, this is awesome. Come on, get him on here. Abraham, come on. Let's go ahead and talk to this guy right here. Come on. Are you serious? Come on. Look at this, man. Lavonte David, possibly, besides Derek Brooks, one of the greatest linebackers.
No, not possibly. He is the greatest besides Derek Brooks.
I grew up on Derek Brooks.
Derek
Brooks.
I said besides Derek
But
Brooks.
besides Derek Brooks,
Derek
yeah.
Brooks.
All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself. You've been on the Evolution before.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm Josh, a.k.a. DJ Ups, the ultimate party starter. And
by the way, DJ UPS, because there is something in common here. You actually work at UPS in Odessa.
Yes.
And our guy, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. He works in Seminole at UPS. So there you go, my friend. You're always
make sure you get us some waters. It's hot as heck.
It is
right
hot.
Make sure you give your UPS driver some water.
Welcome to Florida, by the way.
Yes, sir.
No, you got to love that. So you talk about this event that you're doing. By the way, great gift here for the back wall. Love this. Lavonte David signed. And what would be even better, and you told me this, you reached out to me, you saw the evolution of sports talk television. You said, listen, you want to come down here? And I said, yeah.
There's nothing like a live podcast from a great event.
Well, yeah, and everybody keeps on calling it a podcast, and I get the podcasting. Podcasts are recorded. This is live. So
live,
if I screw
baby.
up.
So it's not a podcast.
No,
it's live, baby.
It's the evolution of sports talk television, my friend. A cross between a live TV and radio show with phone calls and comments and stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show and you talking about this event. So talk about more of this event and what's going on this weekend here.
Okay, so this weekend, there's nothing like this in the Tampa Bay area.
Right.
We wanted to bring something new to the Tampa Bay area. My bosses are from New York.
Love it.
And I actually met them at a Lavonte David signing, ironically. And I met them. He handed me a flyer and was like, hey, we got Bucky Irving coming up soon. And I went to buy tickets. So I gave him a call and was like, hey, how do I purchase my tickets? And then I saw something on the flyer that said vendor tables available. I said, what if I called my boss and said, hey, I'll buy a vendor table if I can DJ? And he had a light bulb go off in his head and said, we've never had a DJ in doing these things for 30 plus years. And we did it in December with the other Bucks players. Yeah. And it went amazing. When I tell you amazing, we had a great time. Everyone loves that I can play some music.
Love it.
It's not so stressful.
I love to play music on this show more, but YouTube and Facebook, they don't like it too much.
No, they don't.
They hate me. They'll copyright me and demonetize me and knock the show out. We can't have that here.
Exactly.
Can't.
Nope.
No.
Gotta make some money.
You gotta make money. It's always about the money, man. And Lavonte David coming back for his 14th year, joining us hopefully here in the next
Bucks legend.
Yeah. What time is he? What time is he arriving?
He's here. He's back here right now. Actually, I just got your jersey signed 5 minutes ago.
I appreciate that.
But he'll be signing to the public.
I figured because you had it signed, he is here.
Yep.
He is in the building.
He'll be signing for the public at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Tristan will be here at 6:30 doing stuff for the public. But tomorrow is the big day. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, go to sportscornersignings.com.
Okay.
And get your tickets because we got heck of people coming tomorrow. We got John Gruden. We got Antoine Winfield. We got Orlando Hernandez. We got Jose Canseco. We got Kalijah Cansey. And the list just goes on. And Phil Esposito. I can't forget the legend of Tampa himself.
No.
The list just goes on and on and on. And if you don't get here, we got Big Dez Watson, the rookie, the Florida player.
Yes.
Guess what? His autograph's only $20. You can't get any better than that. And I got Gator helmets if you need one to get signed.
Right.
$20.
Desmond Watson. Everybody's very popular. They're the popular player and one of the most popular players that everybody's talking about right now. Yes. From the Florida Gators. Possibly.
You're talking about
pairing him with Vita Vea. Woo.
Not just Vita Vea.
Oh.
We got Cansey in the middle, too.
Oh, yeah. Is Cansey coming here tomorrow, too?
Yeah, he'll be here.
Cansey, Bucky Irving, Jalen McMillan, John Gruden, Jose Canseco, Phil Esposito. What do you got going on Sunday?
Sunday is the basketball day normally, but we added a few college football players. We have DJ Lagway's coming on Sunday.
Come.
There's a few other Gator players. Man, I can't think right now.
Well, you got Austin Childs.
Yes, Austin Childs.
You got Tank Hawkins.
Tank Hawkins.
Yes, I remember it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also
And we
have
got
Sam
the-
Perkins.
we got
and
the
Nick
list
Anderson
here,
from
too.
the Magic. We got
So,
the list.
yeah.
Let's see.
There it is right
There
there.
it is.
There's the list right there as we speak.
DeBron Hampton. That's who I
Yes.
drew a brain fart.
Yes.
Cedric Maxwell.
Yes.
Aaron Childs.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Don't forget our direct access guests. We have Michael Papajohn from Spider-Man, the Robert at Off Uncle Ben.
Well, I
We
believe we're going to get him on here in just a little bit.
He's great. My son's a huge Spider-Man fan.
Mhm.
And when he first walked in, I told him, like, hey, my son's a big fan of Spider-Man. And he went and talked to him and had a full-blown conversation with him. It was just amazing. My
Right.
son was in awe. He's like, Dad, he was in Spider-Man. Like, yeah, he was. Little do you know, he was a pro baseball player too. But yeah.
I got you. Well, we'll see what happens here. We got Papa John, I believe, coming on here. We were promised that he's going to come on. And again, Lavonte David is in the building. Tristan Wirfs is in the building. You met Tristan before?
I've never met Tristan before, but I've had people that told me he is a pleasure to be around. He is a great person. So I'm excited to meet him. My son's going to be doing the meeting, really. I'm going to be on the microphone doing announcements, but hopefully I get to say what's up to these guys.
Absolutely. All right. All weekend, $5.
$5 each day.
$5
per
each day.
Mhm.
And you've got card vendors here.
Everywhere.
Every team
Jersey
that
vendors,
you could want.
helmet vendors.
What's the coolest thing besides the Bucks? What's the coolest thing you've seen at this expo today?
Everybody if you're looking for something, you're looking for wrestling, Pokemon.
Love it.
If you ask, they will take you to where you need to be to get what you want.
Right.
And that's the best thing about it. Everybody's here working together, and it's just a great, fun family event to bring the kids. And it's Father's Day is coming up.
Right.
This is our thing. Sports, cards, kids. This is what we do. This is what we're going to keep doing.
And by the way, this guy right here is like my new favorite webhead. He got me a Lavonte David signed jersey to put on the studio wall for the evolution of sports talk television. Boom, baby. That right there is victory. Boom. Love it, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother.
I'll be back.
All right. Sounds good. DJ UPS on the evolution of sports talk television. Open phone lines. Goodness gracious. Look at that. Look at that signed jersey by Lavonte David. That will look very nice next to maybe that Mike Allstott signed jersey on that wall right there as we bring back Abraham. Looking for Harry, looking for Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, maybe Leo Haggerty. We'll see if we can get them on. Let's continue to read some of these comments. As always, Michael says, Lavonte David signed jersey. Absolutely fantastic stuff going on here live from the Florida State Fairgrounds on the Tampa Bay Expo. As we bring you back here, I mean, Lavonte David, man. That's, man. I'm gonna put that there. And I'm going to hope this man comes on the show here eventually. Let me just check something out here really quick because I want to make sure Wi-Fi is kind of questionable right now. So let's see if we're cool with where we're at with everything. Stand by. And again, open phone lines are going on. I think we're good with this. Hold on a sec. Okay. Is live now. Okay. I don't know what's going on. So we'll keep abreast of that situation. We may have to drop off some, and I may just drop off some of these. Let's go ahead and drop this off right here because the Wi-Fi is kind of struggling right now. So we'll save those changes. Let's see if that helps. And we may drop off this one right here because, again, there we go. Right there. All right. So we'll make that happen right there. We'll go with these three platforms. We'll see if the Wi-Fi improves because that's exactly what I want it to do. And if it doesn't, then we should be good. I think we should be good at this point. All right.
I was asking that gentleman, I forgot his name, but
right.
About the inside linebacker depth. So I just honestly, my assessment is Todd Bowles is on point because people are concerned about it, but you got Deion Jones. He's been in the playoff action before with the Falcons. He's an experienced vet. Okay. Then you got Lavonte.
Go ahead and get. Oh, sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
All right, you got Lavonte. You got Servase. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's the only area of concern I got is him staying healthy.
Right.
Then you got I keep forgetting his name. Is it Walker? Yeah. So Walker.
Yes.
So I see
Anthony Walker Jr. Yes.
Anthony Walker Jr. Another solid depth piece. Then you got two UDFAs. One I like the more is Nick Jackson from Iowa. because he played 6 years of collegiate football, 4 years of Virginia, 2 years of Iowa.
Right.
And he filled in some big shoes, filling in for Jake Campbell.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that pickup, and also Bullock from Nebraska. So I just hope,
Be a little bit closer there. My bad.
During the draft, I was a little bit worried because they didn't get an inside linebacker. But when they got, after they picked up Nick Jackson, I feel a little bit better about that room because I feel like he's going to contribute to the team somehow, either as a practice squad or maybe a backup or a special teamer. But I just think he's valuable because of his years of experience playing the collegiate level.
Right.
So I'm excited, okay? I don't think there's really an area of weakness. I think this team is very deep. If there's any kind of injury, they got somebody ready to step up, next man up. I feel good about the cornerback situation. I feel good about the safety situation too with the guys we got. So I'm confident.
All right, I think we're going to drop off one of these other ones too.